I'm Morgan Kaiser, and this is my video about the 5 articles that I found the most interesting in my article research. Improving Access to Elementary School Social Studies Instruction was a really good article about how teachers are trying to find new ways to incorporate social studies back into their everyday curriculum. It gave really good details about different strategies that could be used, such as the GIST system that helps you discover key points and put things into a main idea sentence and answer questions like who, what, when, where, how, without going into just great detail. It gave other examples like using videos online to keep students attention and keep them to where they are engaged. Playing 30 seconds of a video or 5 minutes of a video really helps get a student's attention because some of them might not want to read a reading passage versus actually just watching it on TV. Some students struggle with things like that, so they might prefer watching it online rather than reading it. So I thought that was a really neat strategy as well. They can also use the semantic feature analysis, which is a way to compare and contrast what you're reading and how to figure out the relationship between everything that you're reading. I thought that was a really good article. It helped figure out maybe different ways that you can just, not just social studies, but incorporate anything that you would like to be studying with your students back into your curriculum. My second article that I really thought was interesting was about the emotional effects of music therapy on children with special needs. And not only does music affect, it doesn't just affect us emotionally, it affects us physically as well. It can just completely change your demeanor with how music makes you feel. With students with special needs specifically, it helps model how they feel and how they express emotions in certain situations and experiences. They found the teachers that put kind of an experiment on, they found that the students that listened to music had improved skills, and it helped the children respond to experiences differently than they would previously. It supported their knowledge and thinking skills as well, and it helped them overall improve completely. They had the students listen to the music, and there was, I think, 9 students that were listening to the music. And after the music was over, they were asked how the music made them feel. And the answers kind of varied, but they all kind of pointed to the same thing. Some of the students just smiled, some of them didn't want to talk about it, they just wanted to draw. So they'd draw something that made them feel happy, whether it be ladybugs or flowers or houses or smiley faces. It explained that the students felt happy because of the music that was played, and if the music was sad, then they would be sad too. Um, the students that were tested had things like epilepsy and autism and some kind of mild or serious mental deficiency. So the fact that the music touched them so much and it helped them with the experience they had, I thought it was really great. And I've been I've observed at different places, and whenever the teachers are playing music, if it's nice and cool and relaxed, the students really, they're nice and calm. And so I feel like it would honestly be a really good strategy to use whenever you're teaching in the future. My third article is Exploring Nature Together, and it's about a camp in the summer that's specifically for autistic children and their peers. It's for the children that are between the ages of 10 and 11, and it's a away from home camp, so it's 4 days and a night. Throughout this camp, they experience nature together at their own pace, and it's with other children who have autism or are on the autistic spectrum. During the camp, they're challenged to try new things, such as whether it be kayaking, fishing, hiking. It's just things to help them grow in nature. They explore and they play activities and they play games and they experience campfires and every other outdoor activity that comes with nature. The camp requires a lot of work and preparation. It isn't easy to hire people to work the camp because you don't want you don't want just anybody working with autistic children just because of things that could happen. Um, because the main goal of this camp is to meet needs of the children with autism. Through the process of hiring people to work the camp, they have to do screening and they have to do interviews. And the main purpose of this is to ensure that the children are going to have the best care and that they're going to be safe and they're going to be loved whenever they're there. There's 2 staffers, a special education teacher, and some teenagers that are required to be with their students at all times, just to be sure that they're all safe and they're all getting adequate attention. I feel like this would be a great opportunity for parents of autistic children just to relieve some stress from them, let the children get away from home, and experience nature with their peers at their own pace. Uh, the fact that people care so much about children that have autism, it's kind of just mind-blowing because you don't think that people really care that much. But this camp is specifically designed for this specific reason. So that is just an amazing opportunity for them right there. My 4th article is a 2E parent's journey, and it's about a mother who shares her story about her 3 2E children. She encourages them to approach their disabilities in a practical way instead of letting their disability define them and using it as a crutch. She is also an educator, so she educated herself on everything to eat, and whenever she realized that her children needed a voice, she went straight to their school board and she became their advocate, even though she's their mom anyway, so she's the advocate. She educated herself immensely and she began to educate others about 2E children. She believed that the first step was sharing the definition of 2E children. So in that, she encouraged parents to pay more attention to their children and be their voice and educate themselves about everything that's going on with their children. She helped the children also understand their strengths and their weaknesses to help them better understand exactly what was going on with them and to not make their life as hard as it was or should be. My last article was teaching preschoolers with autism. Education for autistic children extends not only from the classroom and therapy, but it also extends home. Because if they have a specific schedule at school and in therapy, and it's not followed at home too, then it's kind of like setting that child up for failure. Because if you don't have continuous, um, if you don't have a continuous schedule, that child that needs it is not going to succeed. According to the article, there are numerous methods that can be used to ensure that an autistic child succeeds in their education in the years to follow. ASD is autistic spectrum disorder, and ASD children are diagnosed every day. They experience language delays, they experience attention challenges, and they experience strengths as well. They can experience academic and social progress with a good support system. But the support system is so important because if you don't have a good support system, that child is not going to succeed, and it's not the child's fault. Some strategies included inclusive programs, where they have access and they have to participate, and they have a continuous support system. And these inclusive programs, they have pictures up in the classroom that show the children their routine that they're going to have every day. They like to have an assured routine. They like to have the visual support so they can, it allows it to increase access to gain the desired response from that child that you're anticipating. Participation can be encouraged by a willing peer who will model the role playing and interaction with that child. There are naturalistic interventions that can be used to increase support reinforcement and routine. The research showed through the article that naturalistic interventions if started at an early age, it can increase learning readiness, communication, and personal skills, and result in that from giving a greater chance of success. So if they have the support system and they have the communication and they have the personal skills, that is going to help them immensely through their education with their with their autism that they have. All of these articles seemed really informative, and I'm probably going to have to keep up with them because I might need them in the future. But that is the gist of it. So, have a good weekend.